Hi, my name is Vanessa Girusso, and I'm here today with Dr. Brooke Stillwell. She's a chiropractor, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her profession. Thank you, Brooke, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me and asking me to do it.
You're welcome. Why did you choose to become a chiropractor?
Well, the chiropractic is in my family.
Mm-hmm.
So my father was a chiropractor. My grandfather was actually a blind massage therapist.
Wow.
And he saw very early on in his practice the importance of a healthy spine and how it related to the rest of your health. So he sent 5 of his 7 children to chiropractic school.
Goodness.
One of them being my father.
Wow.
And so I have an aunt, a couple uncles, cousins, my dad, my brother. There's a bunch of chiropractors in our family.
Oh, that's so neat.
But yeah, so I had the privilege of growing up in a chiropractic family. I spent a lot of time in my dad's office and time with my grandfather.
Okay.
And I saw the impact that it could have on people's health.
Okay.
And so it's what I've always wanted to do. I mean, I can remember adjusting my baby dolls, really.
Really?
Yeah, and
Oh, is that funny?
yeah, so that's
awesome.
how I happened into the
So
profession.
you knew forever that you wanted to be a
Yes,
chiropractor?
I did not waver many times. Once I thought I wanted to be a journalist, but no, it was always chiropractic. So
That's great.
yeah.
So what is your training and licensure?
Yep. So I had 4 years of pre-med in an undergraduate school. I got my degree in biology. And then 4 years, just about 4 years, in a chiropractic college.
Okay.
So that's the typical training. When I graduated from school, it varied from state to state. Most states you needed to have that 4-year degree first to get a license.
Okay.
You did not have to have the 4-year degree to get into chiropractic school. But you could not practice in every state once you graduated unless you had that undergraduate degree.
Oh, interesting.
So for me, I didn't know where I was necessarily going to be. And so I wanted to have that 4 years. I love education anyway. I thought it was important.
Yes.
But I also wanted to be able to practice wherever I wanted. I didn't want to limit myself.
Right. That's very smart of you to do. That's
Yep.
wonderful. Okay, so you had to go through a licensure program also, so you have a license.
So
for
yep,
the
so with the chiropractic license, there are 2 things. So when you, as you're actually going through school, you start taking national boards, right?
Okay.
So there's 4 parts. And I think you start the first part like your second year into school. But you have to have all 4 parts in order to get licensed in a state.
Okay.
But then beyond that, after you have passed all 4 parts of your national boards, each state has their own licensure system.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so every state varies, and some of the states accept the 4 parts of boards, and that's enough for them. Other states have open book testing. Other states you have to go to a facility and test. It's all different.
Okay.
So
Wow,
the state of Massachusetts, I had to take an exam. I had to go and take the exam. And then after that, once you pass the exam, you have to go and interview in front of the Board of State Chiropractors.
Wow.
So yeah, that...
Frightening.
yeah.
Okay.
I've practiced in other states, and Massachusetts definitely has a...
Artist.
Yeah, I would say.
Interesting.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's great.
Mhm.
Okay. So how does chiropractic provide health and healing? How does it work?
That's a really good question because I think that a lot of what we do can be misconstrued. I feel like if you ask the general public why they would go to a chiropractor, most of them are going to say for neck or back pain.
Okay.
And chiropractic does help pain relief. It's awesome for that. But there is so much more to the practice and to the scope of what we do.
Okay.
So I think if I could say it simply, my focus when I work on a patient is with the nervous system, right? And so the spine surrounds and protects the entire spinal cord. The brain, at one point in the brain, you have the brain stem, and the brain stem becomes the spinal cord. So I think of the brain as a ball organ with a long stick that hangs off the bottom of it. And every message the brain sends through the body goes through the brain stem, the spinal cord, and then out one of the nerve roots.
Okay.
So if your spine is misaligned in any way, and is causing irritation to the nerve roots themselves or to the spinal cord, it can cause interference between the brain and the rest of the body.
Okay,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So the chiropractic care that I focus on in the office is more holistic and wellness care, and it's all about keeping the spine in line as possible so that your brain is speaking at 100% to your body, and then your body's speaking back to your brain. So we're just keeping the lines of communication between the brain and the rest of the body open through a healthy nervous system.
That makes perfect sense. That sounds great.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
it's exciting, and there's a lot of cutting-edge research out there that is showing how important a chiropractic adjustment can be also to the function of the brain.
Interesting.
Because of proprioception.
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with that term. But there are, most of your proprioceptors in your body are actually in your upper cervical joint.
Okay.
And a chiropractic adjustment stimulates them.
Yep.
And when you stimulate proprioception, you stimulate the cerebellum to trigger the brain to function at its best.
Oh, so it actually improves things such as memory and...
Yep. It can
Okay.
improve focus, memory, overall brain function. Awesome for kids. There's just, it's amazing.
Wow.
The vagus nerve also sits right there, and the vagus nerve controls your entire digestive system as well as many other things in your body.
Okay.
So when you stimulate the vagus nerve in a good way with an upper neck adjustment, you can stimulate digestion, you can balance the nervous system, you can calm a person down. So
So it's much more than just fixing back pain.
yes, absolutely.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. Okay. How does chiropractic interface or not with traditional medicine?
I think that the two are very different. I feel like, and I don't want to say this to put down on traditional medicine because I have all the respect in the world for medical doctors and nurses and whatever the case may be. There's such a need for it, but it's very different. I feel like traditional medicine is more sick care, focusing on a diagnosis and a symptom.
Yep.
Whereas chiropractic care is health care.
Okay.
So we don't, in this office, we don't label a person with a diagnosis. We're not treating a symptom. We're looking at your health and prevention and overall function, which I feel like is very different to traditional medicine.
Yes, it sounds like it. Do you have patients who see traditional doctors who their traditional doctor has referred you to them, to the patient?
Unfortunately, no.
No, you haven't.
Not often. I haven't had... I wish that there was more communication between both sects, not even just with chiropractors, but alternative medicine in general, because there are so many great things that healthcare providers are doing. And I feel like if we could all communicate better and understand what we do, it would be so beneficial for the patient.
Absolutely agree.
And unfortunately, I haven't seen that from the traditional medical profession. Even when I've had patients, kids for example, that respond really well to care with things like bedwetting or asthma and tell their pediatricians, and it's
They
just...
still don't.
It's, and again, I'm not putting down on anyone because, everybody has their reasons for what they do, but you're asking me, truth is, there's not a great response.
There isn't?
Yeah.
Wow. Are there any controversies surrounding chiropractic medicine?
I think that the biggest controversy would be efficacy and safety too, especially with kids. There's a concern of the safety for a chiropractic adjustment with kids, and I adjust infants all the way up to the elderly.
Okay.
And the truth is really when you're working with a child in particular, the adjustments are so gentle. It's not a big rotation of the head. There's not a large force. It's very, very gentle and specific and effective. But I would think that those are probably the two.
Okay.
The two biggest,
Okay. Please walk me through a typical day in your office.
Okay, so there are two parts to my day, and I try to keep them separate. I reserve certain parts of the day for exams and x-rays, and then also reports. So when I start to work with a patient initially, we go through a consultation. I really like to get to know the person, and I feel like if you listen to a person long enough, they'll tell you what's going on. So I like to spend time initially. We do a full exam, x-rays typically, if necessary, and then we bring the patient back to go over the x-rays in full once I've had a chance to analyze them, and then talk about what we can do moving forward to help. So I spend a lot of time initially, one, because I want to know the patient, I want to help them as much as possible. Two, because a lot of people don't really grasp what we do, and so I spend a lot of time educating.
Explaining and educating.
Yes,
That's good.
I am really passionate about educating, and I feel like if you're in the health profession and your focus is on healing and helping people, your first duty is to educate.
Absolutely.
And teach them how to help themselves. So I spend a large portion of my day doing that, and then the rest of the day is adjusting. And the adjustments really don't take long. Once you've analyzed an x-ray and done your first initial exam, they're only a couple of minutes. So I see a lot of I can see a lot of people in a short period of time through the course of the day.
Just for a quick adjustment.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. What are the most common reasons that patients seek chiropractic treatment? And do you treat patients of all ages, which you've already explained?
I already answered that.
You
Yes.
did, yes.
I have babies, under the age of 6 months up to 85.
Okay.
So I treat a wide range.
Okay.
I tend to focus specifically on women and children.
Okay.
And I have a really special place in my heart for kids because they just respond so well to chiropractic
That's
care.
wonderful.
Their misalignments haven't been there as long, and they just haven't been bombarded with all of this junk that we have. So they respond. It's amazing.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, I lost focus.
No,
What was the
that's okay.
second part of that? What's
what
the
is
age range?
Most common reason people
Most common
come
reason people
to
come.
see you?
Yeah, I would say most people walk in the door to a chiropractor's office, again, neck or back pain or something that they've been dealing with. I tend not to get that as much because a lot of my practice is based on patient referrals. So a lot of people that are walking in already know what I do, and they're looking for something a little different.
Yep.
I have a lot of patients that really walk in with no pain or any problems. They just want to stay healthy.
That's great.
So that's a really great thing. But I see a wide range. I also tend to get people that have had a problem for a long time that they have had no answers for, and they're looking for any help they can get. So I'll get
they're
odd
frustrated
things too.
with
Yes,
what they've already tried.
Right, because
And
they
they're
haven't
looking
had
for
any help.
something new. Okay,
Right.
that makes sense. What do you like the most about your job?
Oh, there are so many things. I love my job. I think I love working with people. I love interacting with people. I love educating. I love the chance to just see a person make their own changes and take accountability for their health and just see what they can do when they are accountable. And I tell people all the time, it's not me, I'm not doing anything special, it's your own body and your nervous system. The body is so powerful in taking care of itself if it's treated properly. And that's not just adjustments, that's how you eat and how you live your life. There's such a big range of things that you need to work on to get well, but when you empower somebody to make those changes and you see it to come to fruition, it's just...
That must be amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I just love, I love serving and helping people.
That's
really.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Is there anything you don't like about your job?
It can be tiring.
Really?
Yeah, it can be physically, especially when you see a lot of people in a day, it can be physically exhausting because you're on your feet a lot.
That's true.
And it's physical.
Yep.
So that would
yeah.
probably be my only thing because everything else is pretty darn good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you define holistic health?
I feel like I sort of mentioned this in the previous question. Holistic health for me encompasses all aspects of a person that you're working with. And it's not, again, just labeling or giving somebody a diagnosis or treating a particular symptom or even one part of their body. When we look at holistic health, it's the person as a whole.
Right.
And what is the cause of what's going on with them. Okay. So how do we get their nervous system balanced so that their brain is working as well as it can in the healing process? But then on top of that, what are they eating? How are they managing their stress? Okay. Are they exercising? Are they doing the things that they need to do to stay healthy?
So you talk about everything. You talk about nutrition with your patients and everything.
Yep. And I don't necessarily, there are some things that I can help with in the office, but I am really work hard to establish a network system, so if there are things a patient needs outside of what I do,
Oh, that's wonderful.
I can send them on.
So you have a nutritionist that you can refer
Yep.
patients to? That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
I just had a nutritionist in actually last week doing a presentation with me.
Really?
So
That's great.
I feel like the more people I have that I can work with, that I understand what they do,
Mm-hmm.
the more I can help my patients, because
Absolutely.
I just don't have enough time in the day to do it all.
Right.
And I want the best to help. But that's my view of holistic care, is not just even physically, but you're looking at the physical, emotional, mental well-being.
Right. The
That's
whole
really what
person.
health is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a good definition. I like that. Okay. What are your feelings about the direction healthcare is taking in the United States?
I don't have a lot of great feelings about this, and I hate to say that because we do live in a great country,
Mm-hmm.
but I do a presentation in the office once a month where I talk about this, and I don't know, these statistics are pretty current, but there may be even more current statistics, but we're like, this country is 5% of the world's population. We take 75% of the medications, 75% of the pharmaceutical
That's a
prescribed
lot.
drugs, but yet the World Health Organization ranks us like 38th in overall health. We are a sick country.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's really
It's
scary.
really kinda
And I
scary.
think that if you look around, we see it in the kids with the allergies,
Right.
the behavioral things.
Right.
Like cancer is running rampant. It wasn't like that when we were growing up. It certainly wasn't like that with my parents.
No.
And I feel like there has to be. I'm really passionate about this because I just feel like when is enough enough,
Right.
and when are we going to do things to start to make changes?
Absolutely.
Because we really are getting sicker, not
Mhm.
healthier.
It is kind of sad when you look at those statistics, and it makes you open your eyes a little bit more.
Yeah.
And really look at this. Yeah, that's
Right.
that's unbelievable. And the final question is, what advice would you give to someone wishing to become a chiropractor?
I would first and foremost say go for it. It's an awesome, I feel like I come to work to relax. It's a hobby for me. I love it.
Mhm.
And to be passionate about your work
Yeah.
and to it be fun for you is an awesome thing.
Can't ask for anything
No,
better.
I mean, it doesn't get any better.
No.
So that is step one. And then step two is, I think, spend some time. Chiropractors as a whole, at least the ones that I interact with, are great, really great people, and have a great focus on life and health, and they're typically welcoming of people coming in and learning from them. So get in touch with
That's
people that are
great.
local to you, spend some time in their office.
Mhm.
Definitely, especially in undergraduate school, focus on sciences, anatomy, and physiology, because you get so much of it in college, in chiropractic college. And so if you have a good background going in,
That
you
will
won't
help.
struggle as much. Yeah.
That's great advice.
So that I would encourage anyone thinking of chiropractic school that is in undergraduate school to really have a strong focus in, if not a degree in biology or science, because it's so helpful once you get to the school.
That sounds like wonderful advice. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Brooke, for sharing all this wonderful information with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks again for asking me. It was great.